The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we're live in Los Angeles. It's sunny again. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me.
Good morning. What a weekend, huh?
What? 2 overtime games never happened before on championship weekend. So now we take a couple of weeks off, and we get to a Super Bowl. New England just started as pick'em. Now they're a slight favorite over the Rams. I tend to guess lines. I guessed New England -3. It started pick'em, and immediately all the sharps and the wise guys started betting New England. The Rams are a very good football team, but you talk about, I mean, this just feels like another game for New England. Seriously. They've been in 9 of these things. Going to be a little jitters for the Rams. They got the young quarterback. Can't wait for the game. Going to be great. We'll break it down over the next couple of weeks, where every Monday at this time, and we do this for a reason. I sit up here and I have strong opinions. I don't take phone calls. And so the audience, you know, they want me to come out and say, hey, I whiffed on that. I was wrong. So we created a segment that we do every Monday where I come out and say, yeah, I was right on this and I was wrong on this. And it's a lot of fun. It's our highest rated segment usually of the week, where I come out and just admit, man, I whiffed on that. So here we go. Monday, Colin right, Colin wrong.
Where Colin was right.
Best year I've ever had predicting playoff games. There were 10. I got 9 out of 10 right. In fact, the Patriot win yesterday was my only loss, and you'd think I'd pick the Patriots. But we also went 7-2-1 against the spread. I think playoff games are harder to pick in the regular season because it's the best coaches, the best home field advantages, but they're very hard to predict. Yesterday, the home field advantage meant nothing. Previously, it meant everything. So, in the end, we were well over 60%. Best year handicapping in my career, and easily the best playoff run in my career.
Where Colin was wrong.
I've been an Andy Reid supporter, the Chiefs head coach, all the way back to Philadelphia. But to be great, you first got to get better. And Belichick and his staff really won the chess match yesterday. I'm not blaming Andy Reid for everything, but New England took away Tyreek Hill, took away Travis Kelce, took away the pressure, took Mahomes off the field for an entire first half. Andy's 1-5 in conference championship games. And again, he's faced great teams that often go on to win the Super Bowl. But boy, it felt like in that first half that the preparation of New England, New England basically did everything they planned on doing all week. They ran it. Edelman, Gronk, Brady never got pressure. That was a chess match, and that chess match felt like it was over about 45 minutes into it.
Where Colin was right?
Well, New England was the only team in the playoffs this weekend that scored more than their season average. We kept saying, not to be a wet blanket, but let's stop with all the belly aching about too much offense in the NFL. Scoring came down all playoffs, as predicted. I mean, Rams-Saints first game was 45-35. This game, even with overtime, was only 26-23. We said it would be played mostly in between the 20s. And the first time New England faced Kansas City, it was big play, big play, big play, fireworks show. And this one was a lot of field goals early and one offense not showing up. Defense, the weather gets cold, players get hurt. Defense always rises late. This is why sports leagues like the NBA and the NFL and hockey are right to make rules very pro-offense, because the longer a season goes on, the more guys get hurt, the harder it is to score.
Where Colin was wrong.
I have been banging on New England's weapons the entire season. And I said, coming into the playoffs, they have the worst weapons. But you know what? Route running matters. Catching the ball matters. Not making mental errors matters. Gronk was huge. Edelman was huge. Can anybody take a hit like Edelman? Hogan was huge. Sony Michel's a tremendous young running back. He's a tiny guy with a low center of gravity. It's hard to get a shot on him. James White is the best pass-catching running back in the NFL. And their offensive line is tremendous. I can say all I want that they're not dynamic, and they're generally not, and they don't have a deep threat. But when you watch New England play, how big were the Chargers' deep threats? How much did Pittsburgh's deep threats matter? In the end, football's about picking up first downs. New England's guys pick up first downs. 36 yesterday, and only 1 or 2 of those plays were dynamic.
Where Colin was right?
Brady's not only the best quarterback ever, I've said, judge somebody on their impact. Michael Jordan had impact. Magic had impact. LeBron's got impact. You do realize that Tom Brady's impact is so huge in the NFL that we're going to have a Tom Brady era. He's going to keep guys like Phillip Rivers out of the Hall of Fame. You do realize that Dan Marino and Brett Favre are legends, and they look almost insignificant when you now add a 9th Super Bowl appearance. We're going to have a 20-year run in the NFL that will be known as the Tom Brady era. And the minute he retires, we'll talk about, he would have won more except Tom Brady. It's not just about winning when you're a legend. It's also about who you keep from winning. Those Utah Jazz teams were great. Jordan never let them win. The Knicks were good. The Pacers were good. And Jordan never let them win. Brady is easily the most impactful football player on the planet ever.
Where Colin was wrong.
I said on, I don't know what show it was last week, I thought Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for Kansas City, was the football game. That if he could be disruptive to New England, Chiefs were going to win the football game. He was a complete non-factor. D. Ford, a negative factor. Kansas City led the NFL in sacks. I thought this is what I thought would happen in the game. Brady would be just uncomfortable enough that New England would be off offensively. It was the opposite. It was Brady was completely comfortable from the opening series to overtime. In fact, in overtime, Brady, it looked like a 7-on-7 drill. I was absolutely shocked by that. New England won. That's not shocking. It surprised me. But the fact that the defensive line for the Chiefs put virtually no pressure at home on Brady was jaw-dropping.
Where Colin was right?
2 years ago, Twitter and the internet proclaimed the NFL is dying. And I said, oh, God, agenda from the media. NFL will be king the rest of my life. It's the sport we watch, the sport we drink beer to, have pizza to, where neighbors watch together. It's the sport we play fantasy. It's the sport we bet on, by the way, more and more. Folks, more people watch the Pro Bowl than watch NBA playoff games, not counting the conference finals. All right, this sport is rock solid, and its ability to be deft and nimble and change rules year to year, which baseball can't, is one of its great strengths. Businesses die when they get arrogant. Give the NFL credit. They're not perfect, especially with some of their off-the-field rulings. But in terms of their product, they address their problems quickly and solve them, and this is the best NFL season I ever remember.
Where Colin was wrong.
Finally, when CBS hired Tony Romo, I said, he'll be fine, but he just played. He's never he's never been a broadcaster. I've never heard him do a podcast. He'll be fine. Romo's been terrific, better than I ever thought, funny, energetic, full of juice. Yesterday, he was like a wizard calling plays before they happened.
Gronk is out wide. Watch the top of your screen. Watch this safety. If he comes down, there's a good chance he's throwing out there. It's Gronk for the first down.
Oh, no, that wasn't like the only time he did it. Here's another.
Kansas City's owned this so far in this game. They've got to go back to the Brady sneak or something, don't they? Oh, they're killing it. Usually means a motion and a run out wide to the right. Here's the handoff into the end zone. The Sony Michel and the Patriots are back in front.
Listen, Romo's always been a likable guy and a relatable guy, and the people I know that know Tony said he's a really good guy. He's been a terrific broadcaster. He's fun. He's given Jim Nantz kind of a second life. I thought that, I like to give credit not just to people at Fox, because I think Buck and Aikman and our guys, Pereira and our sideline people are the best in the business. But boy, the CBS crew did a nice job yesterday. Their analysis with all the controversial calls late was spectacular, and Romo has been an absolute home run for them. Good for the people at CBS. I got to tell you, it's just, Joy's brother was a Hall of Fame football player. Joy knows a ton about football and loves football like I do. And I'd say we're both kind of NFL, NBA people. Those are our favorite two sports. I mean, I'm just sitting there watching this yesterday, and my wife turns to me at one time, and she's like, so you're going to get the Patriots and the Rams in the Super Bowl? I'm like,
Yeah, I think this is your fault. America should blame you. You are the media icon of this country.
no, I picked Kansas City to win, but if you're asking, listen, I lived in Connecticut for 10 years. I watched that's when I really fell in love with Brady. I watched every preseason game, I read every story. I watched every snap. And I'm like everybody else, you start to kind of fall in love or fall in strong with what you watch.
Well, I had to suffer under the hand of Brady for many, many years. But after that Falcons Super Bowl, I just conceded that I'm not gonna live in that space where I just hate everything about the Patriots anymore, because it's just exhausting and they're not done. And I said that this year. Everyone was declaring that the Patriots were over, and I said it's too soon to do that. It's silly. When it ends, then I will say, oh, well, that's when it's over. It's over now, and that will probably be when Tom Brady decides to stop punishing all of us for doubting him and picking him in the sixth round or whatever it is that he's so bothered about, that he decides to just curse the entire sports world.
Those chips on the shoulder, they never leave. Kobe Bryant, last game he ever played, had a chip on his shoulder. I mean, you say what you want about Brady, man. He literally went out and got his quarterback coach, Tom House, in the bye week and said, I don't like my throwing motion. And he paid for him to fly cross country, stayed at his place 3 days. Tom House and Tom, bye week, that's rest week. Tom worked on his throwing motion, and you watched them against the Chargers, and you and I said, I don't think I've ever seen Brady throw that accurately. He made a pass yesterday to Devlin, the fullback, and you got to give, it was just like, oh, Tom's dialed it. Because fullbacks, they're not going to bail you out. They're fullbacks.
You can feel it. Once he starts getting in that zone, everyone knows it. It's just, we've seen it too much. And as hard as I was rooting for the Chiefs yesterday, I have a lot of respect for Brady. Obviously, he's the greatest to ever do it. But I'm going to speak for America and let you speak for Brady and Patriots fans. Everyone was rooting for the Chiefs yesterday. Everyone outside of the Patriots fans and you were rooting for the Chiefs. And I'm sure you were kind of rooting for the Chiefs because you were rooting for the
Andy Reid. No, I wouldn't have been heartbroken. Coming up next, Eric Dickerson. Oh, my Lord, is Eric Dickerson happy? And the genius of Sean McVay, and he's not getting credit for it today. Did a little genius thing, and he's getting no credit. I thought it was very smart. Whether he wanted to or not, that's coming up. So here's a timely stat for you. Almost half of us make a New Year's resolution every single year. I'm actually surprised it's not more. I've made a New Year's resolution every year of my life. I've kept about 4 of them. I stopped by